केमशो नमस्ते सत श्रीकाल आदाब के मनाशन प्यारे दोस्तों प्यारे दर्शकों आप जी का निघा स्वागत हैगा जस कैमरे दी नज़र दीपक धीमान तुहाडे लई हर सोमवार ईस्टर्न टाइम 7 वजे शाम नूं ਇਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਸਟੋਰੀਆਂ ਸਾਂਝੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਬਾਕੀ ਹੋਰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ बहुत मन अफसोसिया हैगा हर एक बंदे दा जो दिल्ली दे अंदर रेप केस होया हैगा और इत्थे जो दो पुलिस ऑफिसर वेलवर्ड मोरा अते ऑफिसर जैसन रवेरा उन्हां दी मौत हो गई उन्हां नूं शूट कर दिता गया इस दे लई अरदास कीती गई गुरुद्वारा शहीदा हिक्सवेल यानी भुपिंदर सिंह उन्होंने ये कम्यूनिटी नूं इकट्ठा किया और ऐतवार 6 फरवरी नूं नासा काउंटी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने जिहड़ियां उत्थे पौड़ियां हैगियां उत्थे खड़ के कैंडल विजन किया गया और इस मौके के उत्ते जो डिग्निटीज़ आए उन्होंने अपनी अपनी श्रद्धांजलि दी अते इस समागम की समाप्ति भाई भुपिंदर सिंह जी ज्ञानी भुपिंदर सिंह जिहड़े कि शहीदा गुरुद्वारे तो उन्होंने महाराज के चरणों के विच अरदास करदियां होया इसकी समाप्ति की आओ मारदे हां एक नज़र
अज आपां न्यूयॉर्क दे विच नासू काउंटी दे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने इत्थे इकट्ठे होए हैं दो प्रोग्राम ने जिन्हां वास्ते असी सारे इत्थे अज हाज़र होए हाँ एक तां जिहड़े साडे दो पुलिस ऑफिसर पिछले दिनी अपनी ड्यूटी निभाउंदियां अपने फर्ज नूं पूरियां करदियां साडी रखिया वास्ते जिहड़े दिन रात ड्यूटी दे विच रहिंदे ने हाज़र रहिंदे ने जानां दी परवाह नहीं करदे सो उन्हां ने अपनी ड्यूटी के दौरान अपनियां जानां दित्तियां ने उन्हां दो पुलिस ऑफिसर नूं आपां अज याद करन वास्ते उन्हां दी आत्मिक शांति वास्ते उन्हां दे परिवार वास्ते अरदास करन वास्ते पहुंचे हैं कैंडललाइट विजन आपां उहदे वास्ते कीता है दूसरा जो भारत की धरती के उत्ते दिल्ली विखे घटना घटी है एक गरीब घर की धी बच्ची बेटी जिस दे नाल के इहो जिहा सलूक किया गया है जिसनों कि आपां जदों वीडियो राही देखते हैं तो साडियां अखां जिहड़ियां खून दे अथरू रोंदियां ने कि ऐदां भी कोई पशु बिरती वाले लोग जिहड़े ने वो किसी दी धी भैण नाल कर सकदे ने
अपनी Nassau County Comptroller Elaine Phillips अपने वास्ते Pledge of Allegiance हुण recite करूगी.
And I just would like to say one thing before we say the pledge. I stand here today on behalf of the Comptroller's Office, but also for Bruce Blakeman, our county executive. And it's the acts that have happened in New York City against our law enforcement, Officer Rivera, Officer Mora, and right here, Officer Muniz, who was part of the Nassau County Police Department, that it's so important that we come together like this. And it's so important that we understand and we pledge the allegiance to the United States of America because we are so blessed.
We are very blessed here to have our police officers and a legal system that does not allow things to happen like that poor woman in India that was raped, that was dragged through the streets, just absolutely awful. And we have our officers and the legal system here to make sure that things like that don't happen. And when they do, people are brought to justice. So I want to thank all of our officers that are here today, and they will bring the word back to all our officers here and our officers in New York, thanking them for all they do for us, but thanking you all for remembering and taking the time to think about them, to always keep them in your thoughts and prayers, those we have lost and those here still fighting for us. So God bless you all, and again, God bless you for having this vigil tonight.
It's an outrage. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. We love our police department. Do we love our police? Yeah. And we should support our police, not only with being here. This is wonderful. It's freezing cold out, and thank you all for being here in this inclement weather. But we got to keep our streets safe. And how do we keep our streets safe if we don't support our law enforcement? If we defund the police, that's terrible. We're not going to defund the police, are we?
No.
No way. We're going to make sure that our police are well equipped, that they have enough manpower. That's what we need. Enough of this. This is enough. We've had it. Stop killing our police. And if we're going to do something about it, we are going to do something about it. It's in our hands. This is America, the greatest country in the world. And India's probably the biggest, best country in the world. But we are together. And united together, we can do anything. We're going to take our country back. This communist thing they have going across the country, trying to take all our rights away from us is wrong. We have to stop it. These police officers that are being killed are wrong. This is so bad. I get so mad. But we have to do something about it.
We are overwhelmed by the gratitude that we receive from our communities here in Nassau County, the support that you give us in law enforcement. 26 members have been killed in the line of duty around the country. 7 have been shot in New York City. 2 have been killed. We stand across the way from the criminal courts where I've testified thousands of times in my criminal cases over my 39 years, putting bad people in jail. That's where they belong. I understand bail reform. I get bail reform. Rich kid over a poor kid should never happen. But we can't let bad people out, because the men and women in law enforcement are what stand between you and evil. We are the line, that thin blue line, and it gets thinner every day when we lose support. In Nassau County, we have this support by our county executive, by the district attorney who now serves in that, by our comptroller, by our politicians here that are out here, and poor Rose Walker freezing to death. But it sends the message to all of us that they stand behind the men and women of law enforcement. We will always stand behind you. When people say they have my back, there's a reason for that. They are behind me. I'm in front. I'll take the shot. That's what we do. We protect our victims. We give them a voice.
It is wrong. I thank you. It shows your leadership. In our adopted country, we live, work, and enjoy the law of the land. But we also believe when wrong is happened, one must stand up. Stand up for other sister brothers for justice.
2 days ago, 2 police officer Rivera and Mora got shot and death because responsible for domestic violation. That's very heartbroken and painful for everyone to see 2 young boys just give their life just like that because of too many guns on the street.
Deputy Dhaliwal was shot in Texas about 2 years ago. I'm sure you're familiar. And we did a GoFundMe, and a part of that proceeds, we are going to start a Heroes project where we are going to give money to the members of the officers that have given their lives in the line of duty.
जी सहायवार श्री भगवती जी की पातशाही 10वें प्रथम भगवती सिमर कै गुरु नानक लई त्याए फिर अंगद गुरते अमरदास रामदास होई सहाय अर्जन हर गोबिंद नाम सिमरो श्री हर राय श्री हर कृष्ण त्याईए जिस डिठे सब दुख जाए तेग बहादुर सिमरै घर नौ नित्य आवे धाए सब थाई होए सहाय 10वें पातशाह श्री गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी महाराज सब थाई होए सहाय 10 पातशाहियां दी जोत श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दे पाठ दीदार जी का ध्यान धर के बोलो जी।
ਮੈਟਰੋਪੋਲੀਟਨ ਦੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਿਰਮੁਖ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਨਕੂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅਕਸਰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਸਿਰਮੁਖ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਨਕੂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਭੇਜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ। ਕਾਂਗਰਸਮੈਨ ਜੈਮੀ ਰੈਸਕਿਨ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਲਾਂਚ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਮੈਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਵੀ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਇਸ ਬੁੱਕ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਮੌਕੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ। आओ मारदे हाँ एक नज़र।
It's Jamie Raskin from Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District, and my friend Terry Lemon organized some friends to come together in honor of my new book, which is pretty much a love letter to my son, my lost son, who left us on the last day of 2020. And I ended up writing the book about him, and then also about what happened 1 week later on Wednesday, January 6th, when there was a violent insurrection at the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to overthrow Congress, in an attempt to overthrow the counting of our electoral college votes. And so I told the story of this attempted coup, this insurrection, and also a little bit the story of my son's life. So that's my book. It's called Unthinkable, and I was just overwhelmed at the turnout today because there were hundreds and hundreds of people who came, and so I just stuck around to sign everybody's book.
ਅਗਲੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਮੁਖ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਨਕੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਭੇਜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਗਿੱਲ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ। Meet and greet with the Tom Praise candidate Democratic Governor Maryland। ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਇਸ ਮੀਟ ਐਂਡ ਗ੍ਰੀਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਸਾਂਝੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਪਰਸਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਟਰਬਨ ਧਾਰੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋਬਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼ਮੂਲੀਅਤ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ। ਔਰ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਗਿੱਲ ਨੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਫਿਰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਪੀਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਨ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਕੁਛ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ। ਕੀ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸੀਆਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ।
I often saw America at its worst. And in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, I will never forget what took place at the Gurdwara there. The brutal, senseless, hate-motivated murder of so many people there. And shortly after that incident, we investigated it, and I went to visit. And this is, I'll never forget that visit. Full disclosure, I got married in Milwaukee, about 15 minutes from where the Gurdwara was located. And I remember sitting down with the membership, and we had a wonderful evening. It was very, very powerful. And I asked them, what can we do for you? What can we, the United States of America, do to help? And they asked me for one favor. I remember it vividly, and it's not what you expect. They said, can you talk to the Secretary of Defense? Because we want to serve in the U.S. Army. And because of certain rules about people who wear a turban,
we want today promise from you that there should be in your team, there should be at least one turban guy in your cabinet, number one. Number two, Vaisakhi, that is our historical festival which was started at the time of Umali, but it was stopped by the Republic, and I don't know why. So that festival must be celebrated at Governor House. And third one is that South Asian Commission, the commission who are the chairman, vice chairman, they are from last 14 years, whereas the tenure is 2 years. I don't know what card they are playing. At the time of Democrat and Republican, the same two faces are there. So you promise us, we have more than 10,000 votes, and that is in our hands. We are all for you, but until unless there should not be a cheating with our community.
thank you. Thank you.
This is a prominent Sikh of USA.
Oh, thank you.
You can read there. Read there.
I hope you're in there. How long is your phone? I'll get out of your way here.
ਸੋ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਅੱਜ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਟੋਰੀਆਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਹੀ। ਅਗਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਸਟੋਰੀਆਂ ਹੋਣ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ info@justbroadcasting.com ਜਾਂ deepak@justbroadcasting.com। ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਫਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਵੀਆਂ ਸਟੋਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਦਿਓ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ, ਰੱਬ ਰਾਖਾ।